Have you ever had a project where you just lost momentum or didn't know what the next step was, or I don't know, made you question why you're doing woodworking? Yeah, I've had several projects like that, but probably the biggest one is this rocking chair right here. So I had taken a class down at the Mark Adams School of Woodworking in sculptural rocking chair. It's a type of rocking chair that was modeled after the Sam Maloof design that he made so famous. At the time when I took it, this was, 12 years ago now. It was a one week long class. I think it was 7 days, so it was longer than the normal classes. And man, you worked hard those 7 days. It was 12, 14-hour days. And at the end of the class, you still didn't have a finished rocking chair. You had all the joinery done, and you had learned how to sculpture, and you had, everything. You had a chair to take home, but it was still square and blocky. But you'd spent so much time and effort on it, and so when I got home, I kind of stuck it in the corner and left it because I was scared of doing anything else that was like beyond my skill level. So it sat there, and honestly, it sat there for a couple of years. And then my wife was pregnant with our second son, Simon, and it was about a month or so before he was due. And my wife kind of said, either you're going to finish that rocking chair or I'm going to go buy a new one. And so I got out in the shop and I got everything together and I went to work on it. Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't look like a Sam Maloof, and that's okay. But I did a lot of work on it and spent a lot of hours on it. I probably have over 150 hours total in it at this point. I'm doing my last final finishing touches, sanding it up, and I had the orbital sander in my hand, and I turned as the chair was sitting on a bench just like that. I caught the leg, pulled it off, the chair hit the concrete, and broke off one of the legs on the front, and I was just devastated. I didn't even really look at how much damage had been done or what had been done. I just knew from the pile on the floor that it was not good. So at that point, I was really depressed. I was not happy at all. I basically left it in a pile on the shop floor, turned out the lights to the shop, walked out. As I walked into the house, I walked past my older son and my wife and said, "That's it, I'm done, go buy a rocking chair." And it was really one of those moments when I thought, man, I can't do this. I can't be a woodworker. I don't have the patience for it. I really questioned what I was doing at that point. Even though it was a silly accident, it brought everything into focus for me, and I really questioned it. So a few weeks went by, and I hadn't even been into the shop. I hadn't even turned on the lights in the shop. And I was going to bed one night, and my wife said, I've done something that you're probably not going to be happy about. And I was like, okay, well, what is it? She said, well, I contacted Sam Maloof to see if he could give you some tips on how to finish the rocking chair. And at first, I really didn't believe her. Sam, at the time, I think was 93. It was just a year before he died. After talking with her about it, I went to sleep and got up the next morning and frankly forgot about it. But sure enough, that day in the mail was a package from Sam. And in that package, wait a second, I think I have it. Hang on. Yeah, here it is. So in that package, still have it from Sam, from Alta Luma, California. There were several photos that my wife had taken of the chair and with quick notes on how to repair the chair. And then there was a quick note from Sam that said, "Stephen, chin up. We all learn by our mistakes. You can do it." And then said, "Peace, Sam Maloof," in his handwriting. And then also included was what I can only guess is an arm from Sam from a small children's rocking chair that he did. And it's sculpted in the way that he does it. It's still kind of rough finished. And on the back, he wrote, Chin Up, Sam Maloof, 2006. Wow, what do you do then when Sam Maloof himself says, you can do it, you can recreate one of my chairs? In truth, the instructions that Sam sent to fix it was a little more complicated than I wanted to do. He was actually talking about cutting the legs off and redoing them. So I went in and found another woodworker, and we got together and we used epoxy, and we basically were able to put the chair back together. And the short version of the story is about 2 weeks after Simon was born, we had a finished and complete rocking chair that they sat in and enjoyed, both Simon and my wife Stephanie, and rocked, and it was great. Like I said, a year later, Sam passed away. And I had always respected Sam as a woodworker and really enjoyed his work and never believed that I could own anything like it or that I could recreate anything like it. But to have him reach out like that in his busy schedule at 93 and help an amateur woodworker out at that point was just incredible. And so that even elevated my respect for Sam and what he did. And I will always cherish this. In fact, one of the projects I want to do is to find a way to mount some of this stuff out here in the shop so that when I have a rough time, and I do this on occasion, there are still many projects that I get to, and I think this is just beyond my skill level and what I can do, and I kind of get paralyzed, and I go take a look at this, and that reminds me that, hey, I can do it. I can get through it. It may not be the perfect finished project, but it'll be better than anything my neighbors could do, and everyone who looks at it will think it's great and awesome. So I guess that's the moral of the story, is just keep pushing through. Keep your chin up, keep doing it. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I hope that your stories about lack of motivation or the ability to challenge yourself gets a little boost from this. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you in the next one.